must learn to love your brothers and sisters. That your days may be longer. Hey, that your days may be longer.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy B-Dell. I'm back with a prophetic divination. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. But today I'm going to be decoding the science of eschatology, which is orchestrated by universal and divine order by way of cosmological and galactic judgment by the Galactic Federation, right? So with all that shit being said, Queen Elizabeth's death is basically the symbology of the fall of a draconian empire that controls the three-dimensional matrix through economics. So this is basically the precursor to a 7-year tribulation period from 2023 to 2030, where you're going to see desolation, pestilence, and the economic crash, which is the foundation of a global reset that's engineered by the resurgence and the second coming of the Christ consciousness that's activated by the gamma radiation that's hitting the planet, right? So with all that shit being said, this video is basically the goddamn nail in the coffin, literally and metaphorically, right? So first we're going to start off with the symbology of her death, right? So when you study ancient occultism, and you study all these secret societies, right? What you're seeing right now is the Benben stone. The Benben stone is a meteorite mineral, and it basically was projected to this planet, and it came from the Draconian star constellation, and it sits underneath the coronation chair doing a ritual, right? So it's basically giving veneration to the penis of the dragon, which is Pindar, because when you break down the etymological roots of the word Pindar, it means the phallus of the dragon. So it's giving birth to a whole concept of your so-called Antichrist, who is Pindar. And that birth is basically the symbology of her death, which is the transmutation of power when you got Prince Charles. So now when you go to Prince Charles, right? When you go to Prince Charles, he is basically the personification of the red dragon, right? He's a personification of the red dragon because his coat of arms this is what's on his coat of arms, because that is basically in connection of theological prophecy. Because like I told you, you know, the Bible is basically a heliocentric philosophy in a Freemasonic playbook that's basically mapping out the end of the 6,000-year beatification period of the Luciferian draconian energy that's controlled by the Piscean energy, right? Because we in the age of Aquarius right now. So now when you go to this coat of arms, I'm going to break this down because this is at the bottom of the coat of arms when you're talking about Prince Charles, which is a representation of your so-called Antichrist, right? So when you look at these coat of arms, it has many different, embezzlements on it. You know, you got the mouth of the lion, then you got the body of a leopard, right? Then you got the feet of a bear. Then you got the three kingdoms plucked up the roots. And then you got the great red dragon, which is the personification of Satan. Then you got the harp of David, right? And then you also have the Scottish Rite medieval crown. And then you got the eyes of man. Then you got the little horn. So this is also in alignment to Dr. York's book. These all these, many different minis that's based upon the coat of arms of Prince Charles. So now when you go to this passage right here, it says another part of the unseen hand is the red dragon. So shout out the young elder, you know what I'm saying? Because what you understand, the unseen hand, the unseen hand is the hidden hand, and the hidden hand is the black hand, and the black hand is the red dragon, which is your so-called black nobility that puts you under the sleep spell of the bloody oath of secrecy that was propagated by the Vatican popes of Rome and the Queen of England, right? So like I said, this is also in alignment to everything that, Dr. York had in his book, because I told you, it's representation of the beast. So once you go to this beast, go to this book right here, it's 666 Leviathan, the beast, and the Antichrist, right? So you got Queen of England, and This is how you know Dr. York was connected to something, a primordial source, because he's seen something. Because this person right here in the middle, he looks just like Donald Trump. So then you got the Queen of England. This person right here looks like Prince Charles. So this is all also in alignment to everything that's going on the planet, right? So now that leads me to the point of when you're talking about these secret societies. Now you got many different secret societies that's connected to the Queen of England and the Prince of Wales and things of that nature. You got the Brotherhood of the Snake, then you got the Brotherhood of the Dragon. So then you got the Knights of the KKK. Then you got the Order of the Luciferians. Also, what you got to understand is that the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan is in alignment to democracy, because I told you, once you break down the etymological roots of the word democracy, it means demonic rulership, because it's basically connected to a fraudulistic demonstrative government, a de facto government that connects you to the straw man, because your straw man is connected to the conglomerate corporations on Wall Street that's controlled by the Queen of England, because the Queen is the representation of the economic system of this so-called matrix. So then you got the Satanic Order, then you got the open friendly secret society, the Vatican, then you got the Nazi Party, then you got the Jason Society, the Illuminati, the Secret of Ages, the Guardians, the Millennium. Then you got the Skull and Bone Society. Then you got the Demolay Society, the Order of the Quest. Then you got the Jesuits, because like I told you, the Jesuits, they like to propagate everything under a dogmatic monotheistic belief system, which is all forms of theology that's connected to Freemasonry. Then you got the Roscaharians. Then you got the Astra Order. Then you got the Odd Fellows, and then you got the Zionists, and then you got the Serpent Robe, which is basically the Red Serpent. So this is also in Dr. York's book. Like I said, these are just some of the Christian secret orders that are average Christians that the Christians don't know nothing about. So a lot of your pastors, your bishops and your reverends and your deacons, they don't know anything about this, because they are connected to the Skull and Bones. I forgot what they call it. The 501c3 charter that's controlled by the dark priesthood of the Vatican Church, right? So they are getting paid, to keep people under a sleep spell, the sleep spell of Leviathan, right? That is controlled by the frequency of the moon, of the draconian Piscean energy that's phasing out as we go into the age of Aquarius. And I think there's more secret societies too. Let me go check. So now, once you go to this little diagram right here, this is basically the Great Awakening diagram. So now you got Pindar. Pindar is basically the personification of Prince Charles, because I told you he is the representation of the Red Dragon, and he sits at the top of the pyramid of the Council of 13, the Committee of 300. And this is also in alignment to everything that's going on, because that fourth dimensional negative energy is propagated by the energy of Pindar. So you got the bloodlines of the Illuminati. You got the Cabal, which is also connected to the paradigm of the New World Order under the 7-year tribulation period from 2023 to 2030. So these, this is a bloodline connection. You know what I'm saying? Because they do these rituals, the Council of 13, they do these rituals for Pindar, right? And the reason they do these rituals for Pindar, this is Pindar right here. This is, this is his original form of when you're talking about Prince Charles, because these people are draconian, alpha draconian shapeshifters, whether you want to believe that or not, because like I told you, when you study paleontology, ontology, all these megastructures, these statues, they are not just there for a reason. That's because people seen these things in the ancient days, right? So now when you go to these rituals that they do in these secret societies, you got the Brotherhood of Saturn, right? And this, what you're looking at right now, they do these rituals for global domination under a draconian energy. So this is why you got your queen and you got the princes, then you got the presidents, and then you got all these world leaders on the planet that basically galvanizes people's energy and puts them in a state of subjugation, whether it's through physical gratification, instant gratification, materialism, whether it be through religion, whether it be through genetically modified organisms, through the Food and Drug Administration. All these things is connected to these ritualistic things that they do on the planet, because this is how they keep people to where they can't think outside the box, because the box is basically the personification of Saturn, the Saturn moon matrix, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, we're going to head to the Queen of England, right? You know, the Queen, like I told you, she's connected to many different secret societies. So you got the, you know, the Knights of Malta. The Knights of Malta is what, you know, that's controlled by the Black Pope, right? So you got many different popes. You got a Black Pope, you got a White Pope, and you got a Gray Pope. And the Gray Pope is not, it's basically the unseen hand, because the Gray Pope is actually the Red Dragon. A lot of people don't know that. The Red Dragon and the Gray Pope is basically one and the same. That's the unseen hand, the Red Dragon. Shout out to, you know, all the Moors out there, because who understand what's going on. So, you know, her death, you know, is basically in alignment to the fact that, you know, she's been dead for many years now. She's been dead for about 2 or 3 years, because, you know, she was in the Gitmo Tribunal, and the Galactic Federation, you know, they took her out because there's a transmutation of power. You go from a patriarchal energy under a Piscean age to a matriarchal energy under the solar order. So these things, you know, these their rulership is up. The 6,000 year verification period under the lunar cycle is up, because the lunar cycle basically shows veneration to people who are connected to the moon. Your so-called Black people are not connected to the moon. So during the time of this 6,000 year verification period under the Piscean energy, Queen Elizabeth, she was going around colonizing many different geographical landmasses that belong to indigenous people. She, you know, she got this clear-cut diamond that she got from South Africa. You see what I'm saying? And it's worth 400 million. You see what I'm saying? And all her garments are basically in alignment to the fact that, you know, she's a representation of colonization. She's colonized the planet. She's murdered the planet. She's murdered the earth. Because, you know what I'm saying, she controls everything. She controls, you know, somewhat of the political and the military structure of everything that's going on the planet. But her primary source was the economic system, right? So once she died, that is basically the fall of the economic system that we're gonna see in 2023. Because when you understand the metaphysical aspect of the chess game, this is galactic chess that's basically being taken place right now. Because the queen on the chessboard represents the moon. The moon represents the material world. The material world is controlled by draconians, right? So, like I said, you know, during her reign, she was basically the foundation and the face of colonization. She got the staff from South Africa. She got the necklace from Kenya. She got all these things from indigenous countries that belong to so-called Black people. Even when you look at it from right here, you look at it, this embezzlement that's on her garments. She's stepping on the head of a so-called Black person, and it's a person with wings, which is a personification in the symbology of a draconian, right? A shapeshifter. And speaking of shapeshifters, this is basically going to segue into the fact that, you know, these draconians are real. And I'm going to show you another video of Arizona Wilder basically breaking down everything that I'm talking about when you're talking about draconians.
First is Beltane.
May the first is Beltane.
Halloween, particularly in America, has become like a mini Christmas, almost like a holiday of celebration with a trick and treat and all this other stuff. But what actually happens outside the public arena that night of Halloween and into November the 1st?
Away from the public arena, there's a ritual that's taking place in 6 different locations in this country for all of the councils of 13 in the area that I'm in. It is the East Side Christian Church on 7th and Temple Street in Long Beach. And it is for the High Council of 13. And in this country on that night, it is a satanic ritual. It's actually, there are 3 nights in a row at that church. The first night is Halloween.
What happens on the night of Halloween?
That night is about the worship and homage to Satan. And that is what a lot of people in this country know the devil to be. This is about the devil, Satan. And Christianity talks constantly. I mean, I believe they created Christianity to be what it is. And so they also have created this Satan. And so they control in that way. And on that night, there's a lot of bloodshed, and there are sacrifices made to Satan. There is a person who plays the part of this in this High Council that has to do with this High Council. He's not on the High Council, but he has to do with playing the part of Satan. He is
your so-called Prince Charles, who was taking the place of Queen Elizabeth. Because I told you, he is basically the personification of Pindar, right? He is basically the personification of Pindar. Because I told you who Pindar is. He's a draconian reptilian. So when you're talking about Satan or the devil, you are talking about the red dragon. Because I told you, Pindar, when you break down the etymology of it, it means the phallus of the dragon, right? So this is who your so-called draconian overlord is, Pindar. Pindar and Prince Charles is basically one and the same, right? So when you understand the metaphysical aspect of these esoteric satanic secret societies, this is basically an emblematic structure of the Freemasonic order. So you got many different connections. You got some connections with the Royal Order of Scotland, which is also connected to the Pleiadian energy. Then you got the Red Cross of Constantine, which is connected to your Alpha Draconian reptilians. So this is why you got all the venerations of the cross, because the Order of the Cross is also connected to, where is it at? It's also connected to the Order of the Dragon, because the Order of the Dragon, like I said, the cross is basically the symbology of a casualty of war, conquest, death. It's a death under a draconian energy. Because now when you look at the countries that's connected to the Order of the Dragon, you got the Wallachia, which is the Holy Roman Empire that was controlled by Vladimir the Impaler, that is connected to the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, that was connected to her bloodline, right? So Prince Charles, he is basically the heir to the throne of the Draconian Empire, because he's Pindar, because he controls the 13, the Council of 13 under these Freemasonic, organizations, right? So you got many different levels, that you're looking at. So if you want to, you can screenshot this. So, and also when you understand, Freemasonry ain't nothing but a carbon copy of the Moorish paradigm. You know what I'm saying? Salute to all the Moors out there, you know what I'm saying? Because we the ones who understand what the fuck is going on, because they stole our birthright through these secret societies, right? You know what I'm saying? That's connected to Babylonian blood magic, Babylonian money magic. They stole our birthright by giving us a fictitious entity that's connected to their caste system under a liberalistic, democratic, satanic government. All right. So we talked about the Order of the Dragon. So also when you understand Queen Elizabeth's death, you know what I'm saying, they had a rainbow over Buckingham Palace. And that rainbow over Buckingham Palace is basically the symbology of transition. It's a symbology of an energy that's going to be taking place on the planet from 2023 to 2030. And that energy, so there's a dualistic principle behind rainbows. It's not always about, leprechauns and, happiness and things of that nature. A rainbow basically signifies an omen. It signifies an omen, and it means, a struggling life of crisis in an unexpected change that's going to take place on the planet. And that unexpected change is connected to when Pluto goes into Aquarius on March 23rd of 2023, and is going to be in and out, of these planetary alignments. So this transitional period that you're looking at, this is going to be a worldwide change in science. It's going to be a worldwide change in technology. It's going to be a worldwide change in space travel. It's going to be a transition of everything that's going to happen, because it's not one of those things that's going to be a simplistic change. It's going to be one of those things that's going to be a significant change in the shift of souls, to where you're going to have a great separation on the planet. And that great separation is predicated upon the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell, the natural from the unnatural. So something big is going to happen, sometime in 2023, whether it be it happens in 2022 to where it's going to segue into 2023. So who knows what's going to happen, but I know something big is going to happen. It could be an economic crash. It could be where, the stock market and everything that's going to crash, because we having all these solar flares, these coronal mass ejections that's basically shutting down the whole electrical grid node, because the electrical grid node is basically controlled by the ozone layer, and the ozone layer is being depleted, because you got the gamma radiation that's permeating the troposphere, the stratosphere, then it hits the atmosphere, and it basically breaks down the fermented dome, which is basically an electromagnetic force field that shields the planet of solar radiation and ultraviolet waves, right? So now, so that's basically in alignment to the fact, I'm going to pull up this. We're going to pull up this. Now, this is also in alignment to everything that's going on. So when you understand, the many different meanings under etymology, and when you're talking about the Webster's Dictionary, the unabridged version, when you're talking about the end of the world, right? When you're talking about the end of the world, you are talking about the end of mankind, because world basically means the end of it means the end of the age of mankind. So when you understand that aspect of it, Francis Champollion, this is the man who decoded the hieroglyphics in Egypt through the Meta Neter. Francis Champollion was basically he studied many different languages, and he was, a decipher of many different, ancient languages on the planet. So what he found out was that, the word Tamahu was connected to the word human, and human is basically the personification of mankind. So when you break down the word Tamahu, it means created race, right? So anything that's created must be destroyed. and it must be destroyed because it's not connected to nature. So I had to get that in there. So when you're talking about the end of the world, you're talking about the end of an age. You're talking about the end of mankind, right? So when you're talking about the end of mankind, that is because you having all these, many different things that's happening on the planet. You know what I'm saying? You got all types of, carbon dioxide, this permeating the stratosphere. You got these people on the planet, these industrialized, civilization, these organizations, these companies, they pulling out all the intrinsic metals and all the vegetation out the planet, and you wonder why you got earthquakes. They putting dumping waste and garbage inside the water, and you wonder why you have tsunamis and tornadoes and things of that nature. And then you putting, you spraying chemtrails in the sky, and you wonder why you having all these, the ozone layer is basically being depleted. You are murdering the earth. You are basically destroying the ecosystem that destroys the ecology of the planet. So when you destroy the ecology of the planet, that's when nature is going to fight back, right? So you're going to have a lot of, animals and things of that nature is going to start attacking people during this 7-year tribulation period. Everything that was against nature nature is going to turn against it. So there's a part in the book that I want you guys to see. Can't find it. Where is it at? Well, we're going to go off into the book that I was telling you guys about. Like I said, get this book right here. Get this book right here called Leviathan, 666 Leviathan, the Beast as the Antichrist by Dr. York. Really good book. So when we go to page 13, like I said, everything on the planet is starting to take place. You got many different when you're talking about this inception of the 7-year tribulation period, you got all these different executive orders that's in alignment to the New World Order. So you got Executive Order 10995 provides for the takeover of communication media. So this is why the vast majority of your so-called conspiracy theorists, they're trying to shadow ban us on TikTok, on YouTube, Facebook, and things of that nature. They want to silence the information. And then when you go to Executive Order 10997, it provides the takeover of all electricity, of all technological devices on the planet. When you go to Executive 10988, it provides the takeover for food and resources, right? Your so-called Bill Gates, who controls everything through the Food and Drug Administration. Then you got the Executive Order 10999 provides the takeover for all modes of transportation, right? So that's what happened when you had the so-called shutdown, the pandemic, which is connected to the Patriot Act. Then you got the Executive Order 11000. You talking about the mobilizations of all civilians under supervision. Then you got another Executive Order 1110001 provides for governmental takeover of all health, education, and welfare functions. Then you got Executive Order 11002 designates the Postmaster General to operate the national regeneration of the permissions. Then you got Executive Order 1110003 provides for the government to take over airports and aircrafts. Then you got Executive Order 111004 provides for housing and finance authority to relocate communities, designated areas, and abandon established new locations for populations. So why you think they trying to, manipulate you through technology into saying like, oh, minorities can buy houses. Why they saying that right now? Because they doing that because they know that, the American dollar is about to crash. Because I told you, the queen is basically the symbology of the economic infrastructure. I'm gonna show you that. The queen is the symbology of the economic infrastructure.